Welcome back. This is the 19th episode of the Painted Privacy video series, and I'm the artificial avatar of Luca Bolognini, European data lawyer and essayist. In this episode, we'll talk about Oblivion and being forgotten, legal attributions and resurrections. The image in the lower right corner is Flaming June by Frederick Leighton. Leighton was an English painter from the Victorian era, who associated with the Pre-Raphaelites for a time, and was extraordinarily successful during his lifetime. His graceful paintings were the height of fashion at the time and cost a fortune. Then, inexplicably, after the turn of the 20th century, he was forgotten. Oblivion like a progressive, silent and inexorable slumber, a right neither desired nor exercised, more like an implicit and sad damnatio memoriae. Many of his works were lost, languishing dusty and unattributed in private homes or flea markets. The masterpiece you see above, Flaming June, was put on sale in 1960 in a London shop with a price tag of £50 and then purchased in Amsterdam for less than $1,000 by Luis Ferré, an art enthusiast, politician and industrialist who was looking for artworks for the collections at the Ponce Art Museum in Puerto Rico. His chance sighting stirred a resurrection. When an artwork has no known author, but that author naturally exists, is potentially important and can be rediscovered, we use the term sleeper, like Leighton's nymph. This is a fascinating process. The expert recognizes the author, and his recognition reawakens the painting, and the artist is resurrected along with it. It sometimes happens that unattributed artworks, appraised at very low prices and auctioned off for a pittance, turn out instead to be the work of great artists. You may remember the recent case of Caravaggio's Ecce Homo, pictured here in the upper right corner, which was about to go under the hammer at the Ansorina auction house in Spain for a mere €1,500. It had been attributed to a lesser-known painter from Giuseppe de Ribera's circle. In many other cases, something similar has happened, and art history is filled with expert flashes of inspiration that have led to the revelation and reattribution of masterpieces to illustrious painters. There is always a touch of adventure and detective mystery about these cases, which have inspired many authors and scriptwriters. Treasures can be hidden in the most unexpected places. To recognize, we must first know. There are, and were, entire organizations dedicated to proving or disproving the attribution of sleepers to specific artists, such as the Rembrandt Research Project. Take a look at this 19th century copy of Tintoretto's Miracle of St. Mark in the lower left corner. In 2017, it was returned and attributed to none other than Paul Cézanne when he was still a teenage apprentice, thanks to the clinical eye of John Spike, chief curator at the Muscarel Museum of Art. I could go on with dozens of examples of resolved and unresolved whodunits, but I will leave you with the intrigue and pleasure of investigating yourselves, with the help of X-ray and other variously intelligent digital technology so often essential for investigation, as happens and will increasingly happen in forensic analysis. It makes you wonder how many fingerprints, biometric data processed to uniquely identify a person, could be obtained from screening ancient canvases and panels. In electronic art, a few decades from now, we will use logs and metadata to unmask the artists. We will obtain cyber expertise released by IT art historians. I touch on these possibilities in the chapter, The Art of Artificial Intelligence, or of Digital Still Life, in my book, The Art of Privacy. The attribution of a work of art is a difficult, sophisticated and painstaking work of individual re-identification and de-anonymization that begins with objective and sometimes trifling details. The expert analyses information and specific details that seem trivial and superfluous, but when combined together, become decisive factors in determining who is behind that work, even hundreds or thousands of years later. The shape and intensity of the brushstrokes, the types of colors, recurrent subjects and objects, light and perspective, and the materials used. Extra-textual and contextual aspects, clues rerum humanarum, the search for an artistic culprit, the suspect painter who becomes, through this process, indicted in the creation of a painting, an invention, a pencil stroke, or even just an idea. Then there is the accountability of the specialist expert, the one who drafts and signs the expertise, who goes hand in hand towards the same destiny with the identification of the author. Sleeper's Spotting could be the title of a novel by Henry James, somewhere between wishful research, artistic mystery, everyday life, and domestic privacy. Thanks for following this 19th episode of Painted Privacy, and see you next time with Luca Bolognini's Artificial Avatar.